Hello, everyone.
What's up, everybody? Hello.
Here we are.
Just the two of us.
What are we doing today, Eric?
We are
Did you hear me just crack I just like cracked my fingers so loud under the table. Sorry. I didn't want them to think it was a fart. Go ahead. What are we doing today, Eric?
We are talking about our engagement story.
It's a very cool story. That's why we thought we should film a video about this. It's not really a typical engagement. It was something extremely personal and just involved all of the people closest to us. It was so cool. So it's definitely story worthy is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to just be like, we went out to a nice dinner and Eric got down on one knee and, you know, said these nice things. It's not going to be like that. Even though if that was your engagement, great. Like,
so when we were first, like chatting each other up before we had like were dating or anything, I think I may have asked like, when you're proposed to, like, what's your opinion on like public engagements, like, at events, and you would express like, no. And like, I kind of said like, for me, like friends, family, that kind of thing, for sure. But yeah, not big public, situations. And I mean, typically most couples have like, if you're proposing, most of the time you know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah, if you're proposing and you don't know what the answer is going to be, maybe you should think about not proposing.
You're adding another level of anxiety by doing it in a big public place.
Or just like having some sort of communication beforehand about it. So we knew within like, what, 2 weeks of dating we were going to marry each other.
Yeah, and the other part of the story is I had expressed to Maile a rule that I had always had, that I wanted to date somebody for at least a year before I even considered proposing.
Yeah. Which Eric has a much bigger dating history than I do.
That's true.
I'm a very decisive person and I'm a very picky person and I like to think I have high standards. And so dating just like wasn't my thing. Like I did not date. Okay. I had one high school boyfriend.
That's the context she's saying this, not saying anything about my standards.
I'm saying that I wasn't a dater at all. It wasn't a priority in my life to date.
Yeah.
Eric is not that way. He was a dater, is what I'm trying to say.
With all that information, we knew, like Maile said, pretty early on that we wanted to marry each other, but I was going to stick to my rule. And so at around like the 6th to 7th month mark, I started thinking about what a proposal would look like. And I was mowing the lawn and it was a pretty big yard. And my go-to Pandora station at the time was like Broadway. And like it popped in my head listening to them. It would be cool to do like a review thing, like telling a story using other songs. And that kind of morphed into a proposal idea.
I didn't know that that's how you came up with the idea. I never knew that.
There were two ideas that I had in my head. One was a treasure hunt type thing where you get clues and like eventually end up somewhere.
You mean a scavenger hunt, not a treasure hunt.
Scavenger hunt is where you're given a list of objectives to
okay.
Treasure hunt is where you're given a final destination.
And there's a treasure at the end.
Yeah. Shout out to anybody who's a big Office fan. That was Gabe's distinction for Valentine's Day when I was like, oh, a scavenger hunt?
It was an Office
Actually, a scavenger hunt.
This is already the most scattered story of America.
No, it's not. The other idea I had was to create a musical review and rope in, because we have a very theater-focused group of friends and your family. So it wouldn't be hard to get people committed to doing something like that. And
we should preface that the community theater in our town
is where we met.
I grew up my whole life there from the age of like 4. My parents met at that theater. I had said from a very young age that I wanted to meet my future husband at that theater, which actually ended up happening, which is kind of crazy.
I wasn't British or a doctor though, which are the other two things she wanted.
Well, but I did say I wanted to marry, I have said for a long time I wanted to marry someone older than me.
So.
And you are older than me, so Eric's 8.5 years older than me. If you didn't know, he is an old man.
Anyway.
It's probably gonna die when I'm 50. All that to say, we met at this community theater in our town, and it was a big part of our relationship. We did shows together all through our relationship. It's still, we're about to direct a show at that theater.
We were in the middle of directing a show at that theater.
So it's a big part of my whole life and our whole relationship.
So I got the go-ahead from the theater to do the proposal there, and started contacting people from our friend group and your family to perform songs. And then I enlisted a lot of other people from both of our families and friends to like read little interludes between, like providing the context for the next number kind of thing. Maile definitely figured out what was going on.
Should we talk about my intuition? I feel like that's important to the story.
We can talk about it. That's not why you figured out what was going on.
What do you mean?
So obviously, for me to disappear, to go set up at the theater, and to like set up for the scavenger hunt, or treasure hunt, that was going to lead Maile to the theater, I needed some time day of to prep, and so I enlisted the help of Maile's friend Rindy to come to town, because obviously she would want to be there for the proposal, but also to come visit and keep Maile busy during the day. And like, yes, Maile has great intuition. She'll guess every present I buy for her with no context.
I think I'm a little psychic. I really do. Don't you? Like movie plots?
Well, that's...
And like life events. Like if I have a bad feeling about something, it tends to, happen.
The first time we encountered it...
I'm not saying I'm not psychic.
The first time we really encountered it was maybe a birthday, bought tickets to go see the Book of Mormon. And we were in the Starbucks drive-thru. You asked, like, what did I get? And I think I just, like, jokingly said, well, why don't you try to guess? And you looked at me for a second and was like, you got me Book of Mormon tickets. I was like, what the?
I just know things.
So anyway.
Before they happen.
That did not come into play with this. I asked way too much about Rindy's trip up, and like that was the problem. Is I would be like, what? So what do you want to do this? Oh, right, Rindy's coming to visit this week.
But you're forgetting. You asked a couple of weeks before all this, just innocuously. You were like, so what do you think? How do you think I'm gonna propose when I eventually propose? And what did I say?
I don't remember. You
don't remember this? I said, I think you're either gonna do a scavenger hunt or some sort of like show of our relationship. And that's how you're gonna propose.
You got one right, because I didn't do a scavenger hunt.
Treasure hunt. I got them both right. So
anyway,
Rindy comes to town, and we've got this like whole schedule of events that she's planned out, and I'm like, all right, this seems fishy, but I'm going with it. I'll pretend like I don't know. So we like wake up that day and go get our nails done and go to this like random movie, this like little kids movie.
It's called Home. It was
Home. It actually was a very good movie, but our pedicures took longer than anticipated, and so the movie had already started and we were still at the pedicure place, and Rindy was like, I was like, oh, well, let's just not go. We can go back to my house and just hang out. Like, we don't have to go see this random movie you want to see for some very strange reason that I don't know why. So let's just go back to my house. Well, we couldn't go back to my house because they were setting up one of the scavenger hunt clues there. And so Rindy was like, oh no, I just really want to go see the movie. It's a kid's movie. We'll be able to pick up the plot details we miss if we're a little bit late. So let's just go. So the only reason we went to this movie in the first place was because it was the only movie that lined up time-wise with the timeline. It was like a 3:20 showing or something in the afternoon, and it would be out in time for us to start the scavenger hunt. So I was like, okay, you weirdo, knowing in the back of my head, like, this is some sort of plan. I just gotta go with it. So we go see the movie, and then after the movie, we go to Starbucks, and that
was where the first
clue was. So I ordered, and the Starbucks worker, when I went to go get my drink, also gave me the first clue, and I was like, okay, I know what we're doing now. So the first clue was to go back to my house and get ready, because I told Eric, I said, you're not gonna catch me at a time when I'm in t-shirt and shorts with no makeup on and gross hair. Like, no, my nails need to be done. Like, I need to have a cute outfit on. Like,
before we go further in the story,
hey,
I told Rindy there's going to be 40 to 50 people at the theater when you start the scavenger hunt. So please keep the window of getting ready tight.
If Rindy were here, she would argue, and I am in complete agreement with her, that you did not give her a specific time to arrive at the theater. That was your fatal flaw. If you tell Rindy, keep the time that you are getting ready short, an hour is very short to her. It's perfectly reasonable. So we spent a good while choosing my outfit, making sure my makeup looked perfect, making sure my hair was done. She spent about an hour doing the same for herself. Like, that's just how me and Rindy roll. Shout out to Rindy, my BFF, who I haven't seen or talked to in so long. I've got to call that girl.
So everybody's at the theater waiting.
And Rindy and I are just having a ball, like getting ourselves all dolled up at my house. So we start the scavenger hunt, and it takes us to all these places that were, you know, cheesy, you know, special moments of our relationship, like the spot our first date was, and Rindy had to climb a tree for that one, true friend. Eventually, much longer than anyone at the theater wanted to wait, but eventually we ended up at the theater, which was the main spot, and I can't describe to you the feeling of walking into the theater and being led into the auditorium and literally being surrounded. The lights are on the stage, so it's kind of hard to see the audience, but I walk into the stage and all of our friends and family, like all the really important, wonderful people in our lives are there, standing in the seats, wearing matching t-shirts that say Maile and Eric, the proposal on them.
Shout out to Shelly.
That was a late Shelly Hopkins edition. All singing, like standing and singing, and I just like lost it. It was all of our people. It was so crazy.
And for people that don't know, that are watching this, the theater, the layout, it's a thrust stage. So you walk in through the vomitorium and you're surrounded by seating on every side. Like if you're standing on the stage, you have seating on 3 sides. So when you walk in, like literally,
it was surrounded by all of our
everybody
people.
was in the back row. So it was, yeah.
And so they finished, and I sat down in the front row. Rindy's like guiding me the whole time, and it starts. It was basically a timeline of our relationship told through a little bit of like written context read by one of our family or friends that didn't, you know, want to get up and sing a whole song, and then followed by a song that kind of matched that moment. It ended with, do you want to tell them what it ended with?
Philip got up to read the final bit and like acknowledged / revealed for the people there that may not have known that it was our 1-year anniversary, and said,
talked about Eric's rule.
Happy anniversary, Maile. And then everybody sang Seasons of Love from Rent, because how do you measure a year? Measure in love. And then they like got up and filed out of the theater.
And they didn't go out of the theater. They went backstage to the green room.
And there's a great picture somewhere. I don't know who has it or who took it, but there's
I think I got it.
There's one TV in the green room that has a camera pointed at the stage. And like as soon as everybody got back there's a great picture of like 40 people huddled around this one TV watching.
A tiny little TV watching what's happening on the stage. Because I told Eric, the most important part to me about our proposal is that like I'm not a mushy-gushy person. Like I'm not a public displays of affection kind of person. Like I'm not touchy-feely at all. I just didn't feel comfortable like doing that in front of other people, because that's totally not my norm. So I told him like, I don't care what the lead up to the proposal is. Like I don't care who you involve. I just want the actual moment to be just you and me, just us, really private. And so he made sure that happened. And so he came out as everyone was exiting and sang a song to me, which if you know Eric, he does not sing, like he's not comfortable singing. Do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay, well, Eric is not a singer, so he actually took voice lessons from one of our family friends.
I was taking voice lessons anyway just for theater purposes, but I switched like the focus from audition pieces to, hey, I need to learn how to sing Always a Woman by Billy Joel. So
yeah, he sang Always a Woman by Billy Joel, which is my perfect song if you know me, because I'm not that low maintenance and kind of a interesting person to have to deal with. When Eric asked my family's permission, my mom said, yeah, but are you sure? Are you sure you want to marry her?
You've met her.
You know what you're getting into? You sure? So anyway, so we had this great moment and he got down on one knee and I said yes. And then we had a little moment together and everybody kind of rushed out and congratulated us. There was like food and drinks in the green room. So it turned into this fun like celebration, just talking to all our people, being so shocked, like taking pictures. It was great. It was the most like personal, just like fun and lighthearted.
You're forgetting one part of it though, for the end of the night. So leading up to this, probably a week or so before, we get correspondence from your dad about a trip that he wants the whole family to go on to Colorado. He's like, I figure we can leave on the 31st, which is the day of the proposal that he's known about for over a month. And so outside of the group text, I text him like, Matt, what are you doing? The proposal's on the 31st. And he just very quickly like, I mean the first, like, and so like we had to wake up at like 5 in the morning the next morning early. And drive to Colorado.
So it ended with this great vacation with my family, just like chilling at this giant, beautiful cabin in Colorado and that some of our family friends owned. And yeah, it was just incredibly special, so fun, very like one of a kind, Maile and Eric. We ended up getting married at that same theater, which was a beast in and of itself.
Yep.
I'll show you a picture of what it looked like on our wedding. My dad spent hours building
my dad and brother came and helped.
Yeah, your dad and brother did come and help. My dad spent hours building the amazing.
Didn't tell me they were coming to town to help.
Look.
I walked into the theater and my dad and brother were there. I was like, hey guys.
What's up? So that is our engagement story. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you were there that day, comment down below.
And subscribe.
And subscribe.
You know us and presumably like us still.
Who knows? We hope you guys enjoyed this video. We upload every Monday and Friday and sometimes a surprise video in between. Look out for our next video coming Monday. We will see you guys later. Bye.
It's my channel.
Okay, bye.